that this House adopts a report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the Consolidated Fund Services for the supplementary estimates 1 for the year 2024-2025, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 24th July 2024. Honorable Speaker, the Consolidated Fund Services expenditure constitute mandatory expenditures that are directly charged to the Consolidated Fund and include public debt servicing expenditures, pension payments, salary and allowances for independent offices and constitutional commissions, among other expenditures, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, under the first supplementary budget for the year 2024-25, the total CFS expenditures are estimated to increase by 23.78 billion, pushing the total to Kenya shillings 2.08 trillion. And as such, they will remain the largest expenditure component of the government, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the increase in the CFS expenditures is attributed to increases in pension expenditures, and there are no changes to the public debt servicing expenditures that will remain at 1.85 trillion, comprised of interest and principal payments worthy interest Kenya shillings 1.01 trillion and 843 billion. That is interest 1 trillion, principal about 8.3 trillion. So in short, what we are saying, Honorable Speaker, is that the part of public debt is not changing. So the only change in the supplementary estimates is associated with the pension. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya shillings 23.78 billion increase in the pension liabilities is attributable to carryovers and unsettled pension claims due to the liquidity challenges experienced in the financial year 23-24. This amount includes 21.22 billion Kenya shillings in lump sum payments owed to retirees or people who have retired, and Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, 2.56 billion in employer contributions to the public service superannuation scheme. The breakdown of the money to those who have retired is as follows, Honorable Speaker. The July 2024 monthly payroll includes 259,222 principal pensioners, drawing a total of 5.51 billion Kenya shillings, and 83,615 dependents who are expected to have received 1.9 million, Honorable Speaker. Additionally, 13,403 civil servants are projected to be retiring this year with entitlements to both lump sum payments and monthly pensions. In short, we are saying, Honorable Speaker, because of the liquidity challenges in the country for the last financial year, we had carryover in terms of we had to push some payments to this financial year, just as we did with the CDF payments and just as we did with the county government's equal share, which was not released. Honorable Speaker, following this increase, pension liabilities will thus amount to 223 billion for the financial year 2024-25, and will now constitute 6% of the total expenditure, or 2.3% of the gross domestic product, and consistently, Honorable Speaker, becoming one of the government's largest expenditure items. Pension expenditures have grown at an annualized rate of 21.3%, Honorable Speaker, since the year 2014-2015, when they stood at 2.4 billion. So this expenditure item, Honorable Speaker, keeps on increasing year in, year out. Honorable Speaker, to finance the revised fiscal deficit for the 2024-2025 supplementary budget, the National Treasury indicated that the overall borrowing target, which was supposed to remain at 45 to 55 in terms of ratios, meaning, Honorable Speaker, domestically, we intend to borrow 45%, that was the initial before the supplementary, and then externally, we had planned to borrow 55%. However, to finance the fiscal deficit for the first supplementary estimates, the indicative borrowing framework, Honorable Speaker, is currently estimated to cause a further increase of 141 billion in net domestic borrowing, and further Kenya shillings 22.6 billion additional borrowing from the external markets, Honorable Speaker. What this means, Honorable Speaker, we are now shifting the ratios as opposed to the original planning of 45-55 mix. It has now changed to 53-47 mix, meaning now with the new supplementary budget, the government targets to borrow 53% domestically and 47% externally. So as you can see, Honorable Speaker, the ratios have changed and they have implication. Honorable Speaker, the committee does observe a growing dependency on domestic borrowing. While recognizing the constraints in current financing options, it is important, Honorable Speaker, to highlight that domestic debt servicing constitutes the largest portion of public debt servicing, representing 68% of the total public debt servicing expenditures. What we are saying, Honorable Speaker, is out of the total interest rate we are going to pay, which is about 1.101 trillion, 68% of that amount will go to service domestic loans, which means it's only that 2 which will be servicing external loans, Honorable Speaker. Consequently, an increased reliance on domestic borrowing indicates an elevated exposure to interest risks and refinancing risk, Honorable Speaker. As such, Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that the liquidity risk in 2024-25 could have been mitigated as the Treasury single account being operationalized, which is being mandated by both the Cabinet and numerous House resolutions, and up to now, Honorable Speaker, it has not been made operational. Honorable Speaker, the Treasury single account is essential for consolidating government finances into a single account, facilitating budget execution, increasing transparency, and controlling expenditure. The committee noted that the Treasury did not provide a timeline within which single Treasury account is to be established, resulting in a slow pace of implementation of this critical resolution. Honorable Speaker, arising from the committee consultative arrangements, the committee, through its report, makes the following recommendations, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I must say we are very happy now that Honorable Mbandi is a man sitting now at the Treasury, the helm of the Treasury. Honorable Speaker, you know very well me and Mbandi, we have been pushing a lot of reforms in our financial sector. The other day when I met him here yesterday, after approval, I challenged him. I told him that now God has given you the opportunity we have all been looking forward to. You will be that side, and Makalimu will remain here, so that I'll keep on reminding you what we have always been saying, implement. So, Honorable Speaker, I look forward to a situation where some of the things we have been discussing all the time with the Honorable Band and the House as a whole, now we have a person who appreciates and who can implement them. So the recommendation I'm pushing forward now, we are pushing forward as a committee. Honorable Speaker, the implementer is no other than Honorable Mbandi. And we're happy that he knows what we are saying. The first recommendation, Honorable Speaker, we are saying within 30 days of the adoption of this report, the National Treasury headed by Honorable Mbandi, should draft should draft annual borrowing plan for the financial year 2024-25 pursuant to Section 63D of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and Regulation 186 of the same Act, which is Regulation of 2015, and after that submit the plan to the National Assembly. The plan should also be published on the National Treasury website for transparency purposes. Honorable Speaker, this plan will be able to guide us as a country in terms of our borrowing plan and also the way we are using our loans. Recommendation number 2, Honorable Speaker. The National Treasury should develop an expenditure prioritization mechanism before the issuance of the 2025-2026 budget circular to increase resources towards capital development by 100% over the medium term and target capital projects with greater impact on capital formation and GDP growth to improve the country's long-term debt repayment capacity. We are saying we need to improve the way where we are pushing our loans in terms of development, Honorable Speaker. Recommendation number 3, to ensure smooth transition from cash-based accounting to accrual-based accounting, the National Treasury should be able to do the following, Honorable Speaker. Should create a detailed and time-bound transition plan for ensuring that the transition from cash accounting to accrual accounting is completed by the end of 2024-2025 financial year, Honorable Speaker. And part B of that, we are saying, provide quarterly updates to the National Assembly and other relevant stakeholders on the progress of transition to ensure accountability and transparency. Recommendation number 4, Honorable Speaker, the National Treasury to expedite the establishment of the Treasury single account required to mitigate liquidity risks and ensure timely implementation of both the Cabinet and auxiliary solutions. The National Treasury should ensure that the Treasury single account is established and fully operational by the end of 2024-2025 financial year and submit a progress report to the National Assembly by the 1st December 2024, Honorable Speaker. B of that, we are saying, should conduct, the National Treasury should conduct awareness campaigns within government entities to highlight the benefits of Treasury single account and ensure smooth adoption of the account. 5, the 5th recommendation, Honorable Speaker, of the committee, the National Treasury diversifies the fiscal deficit financing strategy by enhancing the use of grants from development partners and decreasing reliance on borrowing. Honorable Speaker, we have discovered as a committee that this country has been given some grants by our development partners. And you'll be surprised, Honorable Speaker, we are so keen to use the loans and the grants are lying in some accounts, some are not being used, Honorable Speaker. Grants is free money, we are not expected to pay. It's to enhance the pledgeship. Loans are for payment. So it's very surprising, Honorable Speaker, I give you a lot of shillings, I tell you, this is free money use, and I give you 2,000, I tell you this is a loan you pay me, and then you start using the loan, which you're supposed to pay, and you leave the grant to remain idle, Honorable Speaker. This doesn't make economic sense. It doesn't make financial sense. So we are saying now, Honorable Speaker, Treasury should make sure that wherever we have grants, can we make use of the grants before we start using the loans? This will help this country. Recommendation number 6, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude. The National Treasury reduces the volume carryovers by ensuring that pension payments are made promptly, thereby providing consistent financial support to retired civil servants and their dependents. Honorable Speaker, we've realized there is time lag in terms of paying our elders who have retired from the civil service. They have provided excellent service to us as a country and to Kenyan citizens. When they retire, you take 6, 8, even more than a year to get your pension, Honorable Speaker. We think that is very unfair. So we think now, with the leadership of Honorable Mbandi, we need to get our pensioners being paid on time so that they also appreciate that they worked for this country. Honorable Speaker, recommendation number 7, to enhance transparency in the management of pension in Kenya, the National Treasury publishes the following reports. Quarterly reports on the management of country's pension. This report should be published and submitted to the National Assembly at least 30 days after the end of each financial quarter, so that we get that report and we are able to look at it. B of that, medium-term pension management strategy, Honorable Speaker. This strategy should be published, submitted to the National Assembly by 15th February each year, so that we appreciate what is happening with the pension. And the last one, Honorable Speaker, annual pension management report. This report should be published and submitted to the National Assembly within 2 months of the end of each financial year. So, Honorable Speaker, you realize this committee has actually been able to table quite a number of reports focusing on the consolidated fund services expenditures. And some of these reports are very good recommendations which can help this country move forward. That's why I always say thank you to the National Assembly for the wisdom to create this committee, which is Committee on Public Debt and Privatization, because it's a creation of the 13th Parliament. I always appreciate the leadership of the National Assembly for coming up with this very original idea of creating this committee, because public debt is a matter of national concern. So if we are able to address these matters, Honorable Speaker, we'll be able to have more resources to implement development programs for the sake of Kenyans. So as I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the members of this committee for sitting down and looking at this. And we hope that the recommendation I've given, Honorable Speaker, as a committee will be adopted by the House so that we are able to improve our financial management and be able to also help this country rely less on external financing and rely more on what we call ordinary revenue, the money we collect locally, Honorable Speaker. But I can't end this debate, Honorable Speaker, or this moving of this without saying that we have also realized, Honorable Speaker, we are facing a challenge of corruption. Just as we have corruption matters relating to our local revenue, also we have seen some areas where corruption seems to also be taking a root in the area of public debt. And I think as a country, we must get out these issues of corruption out of this area of financial management. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say this. I do believe that Treasury has the right capacity, has the right personnel, and has the right instruments to manage our public debt. What we require, Honorable Speaker, is goodwill at 2 levels. Goodwill at the political level, where the highest office, political office in this land, must provide goodwill. And goodwill at the level of the CS, Honorable MBADI, where what we call the Debt Management Office and the Treasury should be given a bit of independence to advise the government matters public debt, so that we get the right technical advice. And if Honorable MBADI is able to take that advice and advise the President accordingly, Honorable Speaker, these issues of public debt, we can be able to sort them out within a very short time, and our country will get back to the right track in terms of financial management. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request Honorable Thuku, who is a member of our committee, to second this important motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.